We're going to be working in Photoshop next, and we'll be concentrating on how we can use Photoshop to create animation. Believe it or not, you can actually create animation in Photoshop. So in addition to getting familiar with Photoshop, we'll also be looking at some ways that we can create animation. The things that we're going to learn here are principles that will transfer into some of the other Adobe programs. So as you become familiar with the concepts, you'll be using them repetitively in other applications. We're going to start off by working with animated GIFs. So what is an animated GIF exactly? Well, an animated GIF is a popular type of digital image. As the name implies, it's animated, and these images are saved in the GIF file format. They actually appear to move or change, and they're often used in banner ads or in place of a much larger full motion video file. GIF stands for Graphic Interchange Format, and due to the standards of this format, an animated GIF has to use an 8-bit palette. The palette size results in only having a maximum of 256 colors available for this image. So that means that most GIF images take up much less file size than other image formats. You will be somewhat restricted in your use of color. So when you use animated GIFs, you're going to want to think about image file formats that are going to look best with limited color palettes. An animated GIF works in the same way as traditional cartoon animations. The image file actually has multiple images that are stored inside of it. We call these frames. The frames are displayed in order, and they can give the appearance of motion in the same way that an animated cartoon does. An animated GIF can be used for a wide plethora of things, and you can adjust the playback by adjusting how fast the individual frames are displayed. You can even set specifications to make your animated GIF loop, which will mean that it just continually plays over and over again. We'll be focusing on creating web banners. Banners are one of the most common forms of online advertising. They often include clickable images that demonstrate a particular product or brand and send users off to a link to that particular advertiser's website. In one form or another, most companies use them because they are an affordable, measurable, and effective medium for increasing brand awareness. Here are some of the most commonly used banner sizes. If you're going to be creating web banners, here's a couple tips to keep in mind. Keep it simple. Let the elements and content be simple but catchy. Most visitors are only going to look at the banner once, and probably for no more than a second or two. Use the button wisely. You're going to want to place them after text and normally closer to the lower right corner. And you're going to want to use a contrasting color. Banners tend to do better when they're framed. Our eyes immediately rush to the object in the center of the frame. Effective banners use crisp frames and graphics that extend beyond the edge of the square. If the background of the advertisement is white, then a single pixel gray border is usually drawn around it. If you have a background color, you can sometimes get away without a border, but you'll want to frame it if the background is white or similar to the background of the website where you'll be placing the banner. Make sure your text is readable. You're going to want to discern between the title and the body copy by using different sizes. Your text should probably not exceed more than 4 lines, and watch using handwritten fonts, very thin font faces, or all capital letters. As a general rule, animated banners are usually more eye-catching than static ones. You'll want to make your animations last no more than about 15 seconds and loop them about 3 times. If you want someone to click, inspire a sense of urgency. You can do this by using bold, contrasting colors and also make your message so that the user is prompted to click now. When it comes to colors, choose each color wisely. Each color has its own association, so it's important to think about what type of emotions you are going to awaken in your audience, because the color scheme is generally the first thing that people notice in a design. You'll want to keep the file size small. Probably no more than 150 kilobytes is recommended by Google. The ads need to load quickly, or else visitors are going to scroll away without noticing them. In regards to design considerations when you're creating banners, think of these things. Use a bold font face, not a light one, and avoid using really small font sizes. Think about the direction in which you use the ad. To make your ads more effective, you want to give them a direction to read in. Make the viewer start on the left and end on the right. This is fast and effective on the web. You're going to want the user to read first and then click. In general, we notice pictures and people before we see text. So try to make sure that you're using the right kind of images. Avoid the edge. So I don't mean the border, but I mean don't cram text right into the edge of the banner. It makes the banner look unprofessional and it makes it harder to read. White space or breathing room is always welcome in your designs. Give them a reason to click. Connect with your customer and give them something free or helpful. A little adjustment in letter spacing can make a big difference. Small letters need more spacing between them to enhance readability. With larger type, we generally do the opposite. Avoid clutter by keeping in mind your word count. This banner size right here is about 468 by 60 pixels, and that's not very much room. So you want to make sure that you are not overwhelming the user with too many things. You can see that the example at the top looks crowded and there's way too much information. The example in the bottom is clean, to the point, and it's easy to read at a glance. So now that you know a little bit about creating animated GIFs and using web banners, we'll be building some out in Photoshop so you can learn how to do this and build your own banners.